It's a mystery along the Pacific coast. Gray whales are dying in large numbers.
A 40-foot male gray whale washed up on the beach near Sand Lake in Tillamook County overnight.
It appears that this whale had been dead for a few days, but at this particular time they're still not sure what caused it to die and what is the reason for it to be washed up.
The Pacific Whale Watch Association says it found a dead humpback whale floating in the Strait of Juan de Fuca. They identified it as Hawkeye, a young male that was spotted last month near Souk, BC.
Moving on now, France is witnessing an abnormal spike in deaths of whales. Over 6 fin whales were found washed up on the country's western shores. Marine biologists are investigating the deaths of these fin whales.
Grand maximum tir rorqual sur l'ensemble de l'année et sur l'ensemble des littoraux, y compris de la Méditerranée. Là, on a un phénomène relativement, j'oserais dire, épidémique, en tout cas, d'une mortalité aiguë qui ne semble pas normale dans ce qu'on est capable d'observer, nous, depuis près de 50 ans.
Beaches along the west coast are looking more like crime scenes as investigators examine bodies that have washed ashore. They're trying to solve a marine mystery. Why are so many gray whales dying?
It looks like it's on track to reach or exceed the most we've ever seen in a previous year.
Anytime a group of large animals are all showing the same stressed nutritional condition, it means that there's something wrong with their food.
We really want to evaluate, are there changes in the environment that are causing this?
If you've got gray whales that are dying because something's wrong in the ocean, it means other animals in the ocean are going to die too.
Isolate during most of 2020, but area detectives say last year murder rates increased significantly.
Indianapolis isn't the only city dealing with the rise in violence. A new report says homicide rates nationwide saw a historic increase in 2020 when compared to 2019.
And so far, 2021 isn't looking any better.
Really every place in America, every size of city or every suburb or every parish or county that you live in saw an increase in murder. Ranging from in metro counties, so basically the suburbs, murder was up 10% last year relative to 2019 through September. In cities, metro areas under 10,000 people, murder was up 31%.
But Asher believes the cause of this problem, and therefore the solution, is much bigger than local policing.
A change in policing or something random that happened in March as the explanation, but that doesn't explain this big national change in murder. And so for that, I think you really need big explanations.
A century and a half earlier, just before his death in 1321, Dante Alighieri had completed the Divine Comedy. In it, the poet, driven by doubt, describes his search for enlightenment. His beloved Beatrice inspires him on his journey, sending him through the gates of hell with its terrifying inscription.
Through me you pass into the city of woe, through me you pass into eternal pain.
Through me Eve away among the people lost. Justice incited my sublime Creator.
I was created by the omnipotence of God, through supreme wisdom and through first love.
Before me there were no created things, only etern, and I eternal last.
Lasciate ogni speranza, o voi che entrate. All hope abandons. Shocking view. Over 200 years after having been written, all those images were actually believed by most of the people who really thought that after death they had to go to hell. if you believe in God, could be that you think to go to paradise or to go to hell. You do not even manage to imagine it. But even in the 1400s and even later, the medieval imagery still survived.
As Austin continues to grow as a tech hub, Elon Musk says he has big plans for one of his companies this year.
Neuralink is Musk's neurotechnological company that's working to help patients with paralysis by using brain implants. Now, Musk says they're inching closer to human trials.
Most recently, he appears to be working on plans to expand his company, Neuralink, a company dedicated to helping paralyzed patients better connect with technology by using brain implants. The company started seeking out Austin engineers last fall and recently announced plans to search for a head of construction. No location has been released yet. On Twitter this week, one man directly tweeted at Neuralink, saying, "I was in a car accident 20 years ago and have been paralyzed from the shoulders ever since. I'm always available for clinical studies at Neuralink." Musk directly tweeting this response. Neuralink is working super hard to ensure implant safety and is in close communication with the FDA. If things go well, we might be able to do initial human trials later this year.
Now, speaking of prize-worthy achievements, results from a recently published research paper may soon pave the way for landmark treatments against various brain diseases. Imagine a technology giving a detailed Google map of the location of genes inside the brain. Well, thanks to an Israeli-led research team, such a technology is on the verge of occurring.
Because what they said was Clearview AI, which slurped 3.3 billion records, facial images from social media, Facebook, etc., and then sold that to law enforcement agencies all around the world, as well as private companies. That is the kind of unbelievable surveillance that just you can't imagine. It's like putting all these individuals in a police lineup for everyone to take a look at. It's appalling.
The magnitude is stunning, is it not? The scope?
I mean, 3.3 billion. Can you imagine that? And of course, all of these facial images were slurped without any consent, without any notice to the individuals involved. And may I remind you that your facial image is the most sensitive personal information in existence. In the wrong hands, it can do unbelievable harm.
International exhibitions like this one at London's Courtauld Gallery bring Botticelli's Dante Cycle to light. Freed from the covers of books, these drawings never failed to surprise their viewers. The unexpected, powerful work of Botticelli.
The viewers are absolutely fascinated by Botticelli's drawings. One of the things that I've noticed over and over again is that they go up to them and they look very, very closely. They're drawings that, because they're so delicate and so incredibly detailed, Botticelli had a very, very deep and strong understanding of Dante, and his drawings absolutely bear this out. He captured the darkness and the horrors of the Inferno just as well as he did the divine beauty of Paradise. When most people think of Botticelli, they think of goddesses, they think of angels, they think of this rather sweet, elegant, melancholy beauty. This is a totally unknown side of Botticelli to most people. This is the last canto in the Inferno, where Dante and Virgil reach the center, or the center of the earth, the bottom of hell, and they encounter Lucifer himself. And he depicted Lucifer very unusually on a double page as a full figure, depicted from head to foot. And he's done this so that he can actually show the action, the central action of the final canto, which is actually Dante and Virgil escaping from hell. And they have to do so by climbing all the way down his body. They climb down his body, hanging onto his shaggy coat, and then when they reach his flank, they turn what looks to us upside down, but they're actually turning upright, and they're climbing up toward the surface of the earth in the opposite direction, and you actually see them heading up toward the surface here. And of course the canto ends with the very famous line, "So we came forth and beheld once again the stars." We have to think ourselves back into the mindset of someone from the 15th century. And someone in the 15th century, I'd be willing to bet, would have found this absolutely terrifying.
The Inferno is profoundly disturbing, but Botticelli brings an equally imaginative and soulful vision to what comes next. From the Inferno, he leads us on parchment through purgatory to paradise. Dante's revolutionary lines changed the way people thought, altered their view of the world. 150 years later, during a dark time, the Church's vision of paradise and hell still hangs heavy over the collective consciousness.
Well, this is nothing new, but in the end times, this conflict, it suggests, is going to become greatly intensified to such a degree that Jesus warned in Matthew 24:10. He said, "Many will turn away from the faith and will betray and hate each other. Wickedness will increase, the love of most will grow cold, and if possible, even the elect be deceived." Many of us believe his reference there to the elect is talking about the church. That the church will have many who turn away from the faith, who will betray one another, who will hate each other, who will give themselves increasing permission to walk in what the Bible calls wickedness. And the heart of love begins to grow cold.